I definitely had to, bite my tongue on that one. So I was curious. You said, could you start a cult?
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah.
mean like ethically, morally,
No,
or
no,
like
no.
physically?
Could you start a cult and
I can
have
see
people
that.
fall? I think people that are in cults
Mm-hmm.
are weak-minded. Not the leaders, but the people following. And I think because I'm just saying because, and I might be totally wrong. I don't want to offend anybody over here. Go from 0 subscribers to 0 subscribers, but like somebody has to say something or
Mm-hmm.
start off a conversation, and somebody has to believe in it so much or kind of just buy into it at first, and it grows and stuff like that. But at
Mm-hmm.
one point, you have to be like, yo, this might not be a good idea. But then you continue,
Yeah, that's what's. It's hard to put yourself in that mental spot. Like let's say it's
What about the people that, I don't know if you saw it, I only saw part of it, the Netflix thing, right?
which one, the twin flames.
Yeah, Twin Flames.
Yeah, see that you hear about that stuff, but you hear about it all at once, out of air quotes context, and it sounds absolutely insane. You're like, there's no way
Yeah,
I would fall for any of this.
yeah,
But they don't get it. They don't get like a pamphlet with here's everything, that we're gonna do and believe in. They just get a little bit of time. So like, hey, this is a good idea, right? Yeah, that's a good idea, I
right.
guess. Well, let's sign up for this. Okay, all right. Well, he said that makes sense, I guess. And then they're like, anybody that doesn't believe is just trying to like limit you, and they don't want you to be happy. Oh, okay. Well, that's weird. All right, yeah, I can see that. And like this is over, time. It's not like
Yes.
a week. And then they're like, here's the first crazy thing. Did you know we're all aliens? And they're like, whoa. I could see that, I guess. And like you can't talk to anybody because like they've already had you cut them out, and you're like, well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, you've laid out the plan. That sounds right, I suppose, and that builds on everything you've told me so far. And they're like, I want to share a secret with you. What is it? And like, not only are we aliens, but like, the dogs are the ones controlling this country. And you're like,
That's why I'm
that
picking up the poop.
makes sense. Oh my gosh. And like, it's just a death by 1,000 cuts. And next thing you know, there's a Netflix documentary, and you're like, well, I really feel dumb. Like,
They're interviewing you. Yeah, I don't know.
I had the same
I think
thing.
I could start it. I think I could start one, but
The same thing about Scientology. Like, if that's your deal, cool, man, go for it. But you hear like Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and I'm like, these seem like intelligent people.
Yeah.
And then you hear about it, and you're like, this is the most insane stuff I've ever heard in my life, and there is no way. If you sat down and you showed me a PowerPoint presentation, and you're like, all right, so every person alive is actually the reincarnated souls of dead aliens that were thrown into a volcano because they've been cryogenically frozen by their king ruler, and you are just a reincarnated alien from space. I'm like, there's the door. Like, hit the road,
Yeah.
And like, these are powerful, rich people,
Right.
celebrities. How many have you met that?
Well, I think like part of that with that too is like you crave or you want that. You see them being so
Mhm.
rich and powerful, so you probably put up with a bunch of BS.
Mhm.
I mean, until like
I
it's too
guess.
late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, at this point, well, I don't know, man.
Okay,
Like,
so somebody is like, okay, let's just say I'm the multimillionaire, right? And I'm gonna be like, hey, well, yo, let's hang out, whatever.
Mhm.
So I'll show you all the goods and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
how life could be and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna send you back to where you come from, right?
Mhm.
And then we're like, hey, yo, Will, let's hang out again. So we'll hang out again, and this time, like, I'm gonna give you some money. I'm gonna show you, this time you stay with me longer. We'll hang out, and you start craving it, right?
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna introduce you, like you said, little bits and pieces, right? And then be like, hey, well, I'm gonna have to go to the store really fast,
Mhm.
and then we can go wherever. But we went to the store and I killed somebody, and be like, yo, well, I just want to let you know something went down. I killed somebody in there, but you with me?
I got the shovel, dog.
Yeah, and then how much are you
Yeah.
going to be involved? And then all of a sudden you can't get out, and what do you do?
So my thing is like I understand getting into it back then in like the 90s and late 80s, like when nobody knew all the stuff, but like now you have the Netflix documentary. You know,
Yeah.
like how do you get new members from that? That's what's wild. Like
Yeah, that's weird too. Maybe they don't. Well, I guess if you knew, you could have still seen it. Now, anybody in that probably didn't see it because.
yeah, you're not, that's they're just telling lies on us and stuff like that.
Right.
Don't pay it any mind. Okay, all right, cool. But like everybody's seen the South Park episode. Everybody's heard all the wild stuff, and you're like, okay, but how you'll get new people? Like that's what I want to know.
That
like,
is weird. That's what I'm saying. You have to be some kind of weak-minded person
Yeah.
at that point,
or just you just really just feel like you don't belong, and you really need some friends, and these are the people that'll listen to you and support you. And next thing you know, you're down this rabbit hole, and you're like, oh. Look at what camera, Mr. Netflix. Okay, all right. So here's what I believed. But yeah, like you hear about it after the fact, and you're like, "There's no way." Like this person, went to college and educated.
Yeah.
How do you possibly do that? And every time I've ever looked at it, it's always been they start out with something little, and they just build and build and build, and next thing you know, you're living in the compound, and you've got 12 wives and stuff like that, and you're like, how did we get from A to Z? I don't
Yeah.
understand like all the steps in between. But yeah, you see stuff like the massacre in was it Jonestown?
Yeah, that was insane.
Absolutely insane. I'm like, how in the world do you convince? I think it was something like 200 something people to like just commit suicide.
Yeah, I think it's part of like a religion thing, though. That afterwards.
There was they said there was a spaceship behind Halley's Comet, and the only way they could get on the spaceship to leave Earth was to kill themselves. And I'm like,
that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. But like, how did y'all get to that step? I mean, something had to have happened.
All right.
I mean, you can't just go ask somebody off the street, "Hey man, you want to hear this cool thing? Just drink this Kool-Aid and it'll kill you, and you'll go to a spaceship behind that meteor that's passing overhead." Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, glug, glug, glug. I mean, like, you're not going to do that.
Right.
But, like, how do you find that many people?
I don't know.
That's so wild, man.
I mean, I guess if you put trust in somebody so much and everybody else, like a part of it is probably also like going with the flock, going with least resistant. And, if that many people already believe in whatever this person is saying, then, what's that thing when they're in a doctor's room and then a beep goes up and then everybody stands up and you're not even part of it, right? But after the third time, they stand up and then you stand up, and they don't even know why. You're just following.
There's been a lot of studies like you just get on an elevator, and if everybody's facing one direction, you just face that direction too. Even though if you've been on that elevator, it opens, straight ahead.
Yeah.
Like everyone will just turn around, and you're like, well, everybody else is facing this way, and you'll turn around too, and you're like, oh, it's still behind me. Oh, okay, all right, excellent. Or everyone just turns sideways randomly. Oh, okay, we doing this now?
Because you figure out the masses know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So you just
couldn't all be misled,
right. So yeah.
And yet here we are.
I think I could do it with enough. You gotta have patience too. Like, when is somebody gonna follow me? When is somebody listen to my ideas?
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
Nailed it. 100%.
Follow me.
I would never lie to you.
Oh man, disclaimer, right? Just like in the beginning. So we're not here to kill people. It's all about pushing peace.
That's right. Pushing positivities.
Positivities. Yeah. Yeah, but like, do you think the people that are starting off these cults are malicious from the beginning, or do you think like, oh, at one point be like, yo, FBI is about to get on me. I'm not getting out of this.
Well, so the crazy thing is, and again, only thinking of the ones I've heard about and looked into, the leaders of the cults they always seem to make it out alive. So like, I think there's something in them that doesn't believe, and that they are just like, they know what they're doing is not 100%. Otherwise, you'd be the first one to drink that Kool-Aid, but they're like, all right, everybody do that. I'm just going to oversee.
Let's make
Well,
sure
I'm not really
everybody-
thirsty.
I don't like grape. I wanted the cherry flavor.
Haley's comment. I'll catch you on the next go around. Just stuff like that. It always feels like it's everybody underneath that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
goes too far, and then they're free to take the money and run, or whatever it is, and
It's so
try
sad.
again, start again. Yeah.
Especially if they get to do that. Even if it's a small one, even if it's small, it doesn't work out. I mean, they don't even have to kill. But what if you have a compound, there are like 30 people there or whatever, and then you mind blow them and then just dip out of them and just go somewhere else and leave those people behind.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be right either, you know?
I always, speaking of strange minds, like I've always found it so weird that your mind can know it exists and know all the things about your body, but like you not know what's going on in your body.
Oh, yeah.
So like I can't just think and my blood pressure go up or go down, or like I can't be like, all right, I need to slow my heart rate down. It just slows down. Like, why? It's my brain.
Yeah.
Why does it not tell my body what to do? I don't understand. Like, I understand that everything should have like an autopilot. So if you're not thinking about it, your heart's still beating, you're still breathing, whatnot. But you should have like an override to be like, let's
Do
slow
you
it
really
down a
want to
little bit.
override and be like, yeah, I don't want my heart to
Well,
pump?
maybe not stop, but look, slow it down a little bit or
Oh,
speed
but
it
you
up. Or
can't
like,
do that. You have to do something for it, though. You can't just be like, okay, I want my heart to slow down or whatever. But you can, breathe and slow yourself down, I guess.
But that's like using a third party, to do it. Essentially, you have to like trick it into slowing
Yeah.
down. But like you should have control over all that stuff. I think. Like, why not? It already controls it. It already says, okay, hey, we're gonna, put a little adrenaline, or let's make a little extra, dopamine. Feel good whenever you do
Man,
that.
everybody will walk around just like, nonstop.
Nothing gets done.
Yeah, no, it would.
I just feel good, man. Everybody's Matthew McConaughey. It'd be a lot cooler if you did. You're right. Probably a good thing. I'll walk that back. Probably best.
I think
we
that'd
can't
be
do
a
that.
horrible idea. But it'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
No. People are. So, talking about that, because that kind of made me think about drugs and stuff like that. But so I used to, and I don't do drugs. I just want to clarify that. But I used to be like, man, there's no way that a cop can pull somebody over talking about they smelled weed while they're driving down the street. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you ever lived in Augusta, let me tell you.
I get time many kitchen employees come in. I'm like, what an earthy cologne you have on today. And they'll be like, what? Oh, I'm like, I know what you did before work. You better not hurt yourself on my shift. I swear to God.
I smell it, and some people would park all the way in the far corner, and I smell them pull them up, and I'm like, what? No, and I'm inside the building with the door closed. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta
Calm it down.
chill out. No, like I really don't care what you do at your home, but you can't be. You're loud right now. Yeah, no. And I can smell who it is by what's it smell like. I'll be like, oh, yo, this is this. And they wouldn't believe me at first until I start calling it out before they touch the door and then open the door and it's the person there. And they'll be like, yo, how are you doing this? You don't smell this?
Skittle strain, whatever it is.
This is crazy. And now they think it's all a joke and stuff like that. They think it's hilarious that I know who's coming to the door before they get there. But
I've always been in sales or customer service for many years. I was like, I think moral objections aside, I think I would have made a great drug dealer. I think I could have made so much money off that. I'm like, I just don't know how to get started into a business like that. You got to worry about the police, but like I feel like I could have really made my mark and just unlimited growth potential.
Will the kingpin.
But
Yeah.
like, just been a natural salesman. I think I would have been great. Oh, hey, you really love this, and you try this strain, and da da da. I feel like I would have been all over it.
I don't think I would be good. But yeah, driving in Augusta, there's so many times I'm like, yo, this is. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what car it is so I can like pass them if it's on the right hand or left hand. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all. And I don't even understand how people are like, man, this smells good. There's no way.
It smells like the Ship Hero meatpacking plant. Be quiet.
There's no way you can enjoy that smoke. Maybe because that smoke you associate a
With
kind
the
of
feeling.
feeling, correct?
But from the outside,
No.
it stinks. There's no way I would say like, oh, that's good. I want that in my body.
Right. It's I don't understand, but I don't understand the hard drugs either.
Yeah.
Like how I get it to have that short amount of feeling and the euphoria that you can have, but I mean afterwards I'll hear nothing but like it's horrible afterwards. You know.
It's the same thing. I'm like, how do they get new customers? I guess I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
About like, how do you with all the
Especially
information,
fentanyl stuff that kills people off like crazy.
when everybody knows how bad it is, like, how do you possibly be like, hey, you should try this fentanyl? Ooh, I heard some bad stuff about that. Don't worry about it. That's what the haters say. Okay, sign me up. Like, I don't understand. I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna have to just stick with my regular cocaine or whatever it is, if you don't mind. My normal Monday
But now they're
delivery.
lacing every. Oh, so when I was in school, high school, like okay, say you want ecstasy pill, that's $20 a pop. You can buy that stuff now for $4, $2. Like, what in the world is in it that made it so cheap? Everything else is going up, and you're talking about.
It blows my mind how smart drug manufacturers have to be, and yet so dumb at the same time. Like, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you can make meth in your bathroom if you take some Drano cleaner and you make some of this. You put some tinfoil in it." I'm like, okay, the chemistry involved in that
It's
is
crazy.
insane. To know that, oh, if I put this together, this is
Right.
going to distill out, and next thing you know, 10 steps later, I've got meth in my bathroom. And at no point are you like, I'm using Drano to do this. Like, that's not good. Like,
Well, not even that, but like the possibility of something blowing up is
yeah.
so huge, and like.
I just imagine it had to start with some chemistry student somewhere or a teacher made an offhand comment. I bet if you put Drano together, and then somebody with some enterprising youth was like, you know what? I bet I could do that. He did all the homework for me.
But how many people blown? See, to me, it's like I feel like too many wrong things with that has happened for people not to try it. Like, it's just too dangerous. Drano, just that, and then I'm gonna ingest it,
good.
or
You can't even mix that with like bleach or any chemical you got in your bathroom without worrying about fumes and stuff taking you out.
right. So
That's crazy.
I don't know, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot.
A
too.
lot of it.
That's insane to me. Or that crocodile.
I saw that. Just rot your skin off.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good, baby.
And then
there is no high.
somebody knew.
There's no high enough that would be like, you know what? It will technically eat my arm and flesh away and my muscles and just leave a exposed bone. Yeah, let me do 2 of those real quick. Like,
Right.
I say no thanks.
They
But,
have to get new customers.
and that's like the thing I can't put myself into that headspace. And it's got to be powerful if it makes people, this is an acceptable risk,
Right.
to them. I do not envy the kind of hold it has to have on you mentally to make that sound like a good idea. But just from the outside, I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
No, just seeing that. I don't even know, like, if you could disguise it. Be like, hey, yo, this is going to get you high. And you don't tell somebody until you're hooked. And then you're like,
I don't know, man.
I would take some money and go immediately to rehab or something like that.
Life is fresh. Crack is whack.
Crack
Hugs
is-
not drugs.
What was the last one?
Hugs not drugs.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember all the Dare stuff from back when we were kids.
Yeah. That's the government's fault, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you ever seen, what's that cartoon? Zootopia?
Uh-huh.
They explain it in there.
That's true. With the I forget what they call their drug in there, but
Wildflower with the flower or whatever that
something
was.
like that, where it made them all aggressive and stuff.
Yep.
It's basically the drugs in America.
That's crazy. It's a good cartoon though. She'll watch it regardless.
Talking about drugs and cartoons, the only person's address I know besides my mother's and my address
Walt Disney.
is Scruff McGruff, the crime dog. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
In the trench coat? Yeah, he's in the commercials with, you can write me at Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652, and help me take a bite out of crime.
Did you ever look that up?
No, that's what the commercial was. I just remember it from when I was a kid, and I'm like, I want to still send him like a postcard or something. Does anybody mail that?
Thank you for all you did.
Well, like, does anybody man that mailbox anymore? Is it like some other business now? Like, do they still get Scruff McGruff mail?
Look it up.
From
You got
time
your
to time?
phone. Look up Google that address.
Well, I don't know what the it's just the zip code because he just says Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Okay. I got you. Huh.
I don't know. So I don't even know. I guess we could just look up McGruff the crime dog and see if he's still a thing.
Yeah.
That's for another episode.
Yeah. It would be kind of crazy if you actually know the actual address. So we would have looked that up.
Oh, so all right, fun stuff back in the olden days of the internet. You could find celebrity addresses on the internet, and I would mail off letters to all these different celebrities. And a couple of them sent me, I'm sure it was a publicist or
Yeah.
somebody, or I like to think of the actual person got my mail, and then they'll sign a little headshot and mail it back to you.
Oh wow.
And I got a couple of the ones like that. It was like Jim Carrey. It was
Jim Carrey's awesome.
Natasha Henstridge from Species.
Oh, okay.
She was
Okay.
absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful. That was my girl back then. And a couple other celebrities. I mean, I would send out 10, 15 letters a week. I mean, I'm like, Mom, I need some more stamps. And she said, what do you need all these stamps for? Writing friends letters, and it was all, oh, I love what you do, and like every once in a while you get a letter back in the mail in like a big manila envelope, and I was like, this is so cool. I love it. This is so nice. The democratization of information. Everyone should know everyone's address.
Yeah, and you can't do that now.
You can't do that now.
What's her name? Got in trouble with that. Sniper Wolf.
Yeah.
Ooh. But I totally agree with everybody.
You knew what you did was
yeah,
wrong.
that was
now.
dirty as heck. You don't want some creep outside your door.
Exactly.
And then he's got his family and him got death threats and stuff like that. Yo, this is come on, you don't do that. That was so dirty.
Yeah, there was no ambiguity about. Oh, I didn't know what I did was wrong. You ain't got to lie, Craig. Just own up to it.
Yeah. It's such a shame because I like watching her. She has an annoying voice, but she is pretty like no other.
My kids watch her a lot, and I'm just like, she is still a thing. Like, I remember she was big 10 years ago, really. I mean, it was a long time ago, especially for the internet.
Yeah.
And, but I didn't realize, like, now that all this has come out about her, I didn't realize, like, that wasn't her playing on the streams and stuff like that. That was her husband. And I was like, I didn't know she was married.
Oh,
I didn't know she didn't play
That guy
video
is her
games.
husband?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not the one she doxed.
No. Yeah. No, the bigger guy.
Yeah.
That's her husband.
Ex-husband now.
Oh.
And like he would be the one that was playing the game, and then she just made it look like she was playing.
Makes sense.
And like I had no idea. I was like, oh my, their whole life is a lie. Oh my gosh.
I mean, really, to be honest with you, why do you watch it?
Exactly.
It's because of her. Like, there's no if and.
It's all advertising.
Yeah. I mean, it's smart, If
Speaking of which, let me just undo this top button real quick. See the lights go up or down.
If I don't know, if I was a sexy lady, I would definitely use that to my advantage.
You might as well. You could ask my wife. Like, I can't tell you how many times in a year I go, boy, if I was a woman, y'all wouldn't like me. And she's like, you would just dress like a slut, wouldn't you? I'm like, bet.
Yeah. I thought about that too before. You'd be like, man, if I was a sexy lady, I'd be on OnlyFans like every single day.
I told somebody last night at work.
Just being
I said,
nasty out there.
I said, you know what? Good on them, but I've seen some real ugly people get paid on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't know how they do it. They got confidence. I said, I'll tell you more than once I've thought about doing it. And the girl looked at me and I was like, just get a random internet model as my profile picture and then just send in pictures of my feet. Well, if they'll take it, I'll take all the photos you want, sir. I'll wear some socks for 2 days at work. They'll be the stinkiest socks you ever had. $40 a pair.
Japan, they have vending machines with used underwear. Women's used underwear.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's money to be made, man. If you, I don't know. I do know somebody that used to be on Feet Finder, and she's like, oh, I'm not making any money. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and take some pictures. And sure enough, she'll come out and then be like, yeah, I just got like $50, $50 for taking feet pictures in the bathroom. And I'm like, where's the account that I signed up at?
Unless they get the camera.
And I know how I wouldn't say quite a few people. I do know a few people who have an OnlyFans page, and I don't really know what they're showing on it. I'm not signed up at any of them, but it'll be kind of weird, you know, to let's say I was signed up, and then I'm trying to figure out like if I were to try to get with them, be like, well, I already seen it all.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's
And that mystery is gone. But I mean, has there ever been any mystery ever since the invention of the internet? I mean,
no.
So what I think about all the time, and I talk about it all the time with my wife, is like, has everybody always been so weird, and they just didn't know how to access it? So like back in the Middle Ages, where they're like just weird feet people, and like people who just loved armpits, and like you just didn't know what to call it. You didn't want to be weird, so you didn't talk about it with anybody.
100%.
Or like in the '60s, like, has it always been that way, or is it just because we have become? It's just here. And I've seen it.
It's so accessible. That's why.
You now need to push it further to get like that little bit of dopamine. Like, oh, I've seen all the armpits in America or whatever. Now I just really like, I don't know, like name a weird thing, you know, like octopuses and stuff. Like you just haven't seen it, so you need that next little weirder thing. To like, ooh, that new and taboo thing, you know. Like then after you get done looking at all the octopodes, you're like, okay, now what's next? Furries, you know, like it just feels like the line just keeps moving. And I'm like, okay, if you had shown a furry to someone in the '60s, would they have just been like, get the fuck out of here?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
what is this weirdness?
I don't know. I think with the accessibility of stuff and how fast, well, I guess that's accessibility, but how fast you can get to stuff and find out. And I think the problem now is people are getting to all of that stuff a lot earlier, you know, and the information and all of that stuff is pushed onto you. And I mean, you see it on TV and all of that stuff. So is it more acceptable also, you know? Probably before it was like, oh, that's not acceptable. So you try to sway away from it. And now it's like almost some of the stuff is kind of funny. So it's like, oh, okay, well, it's okay. It's okay if I like feet, you know. And then what's the next? Oh, well, feet is cool, but I mean, like I watch. My wife thinks I'm weird, and she does say she'd rather me watch porn than some of the stuff that I watch on YouTube. But I watch like Dr. Pimple Popper and the Toe Bro and the Hoof GP, and I love it. I can watch it for hours. It winds me down at the end of the night. And I think because like the Dr. Pimple Popper, I think this is what it is. It is the release. Like once the pimple got popped, it's like a release. The pressure's gone and stuff like that.
As long as you don't start making noises, like,
oh no,
yeah, baby.
No, that'd be disgusting. But you know what I'm saying? The stuff is weird to like most people, and I think it's great. I love it.
Alyssa comes home. She's standing right outside the bedroom door, and she just hears Anthony on the other side. Oh yeah.
Squeeze it a little bit harder.
Oh, that feels good, doesn't it?
Well, she has came.
Anthony, it was Dr. Pimple Popper, I swear.
She has come down before, and it's like 3:00 in the morning, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And she looks at the TV and sees what it is, and that's when she's like,
"Just go to bed."
Think I would rather you watch porn or something like that. I'm just here like watching the pimples get popped, and it is a little bit shameful when somebody else comes in there and just judges you like that. But I mean, I don't know. I enjoy it. I know a whole bunch of people that like that kind of stuff.
Nobody's getting hurt by it, you know?
Right. And so I don't know. I think that's that though, you know? It is, and who knows what I mean, before, and I don't want to get into it too much. It was like, okay, you're straight, and then it was gay and straight, and
Mm-hmm.
then now you have LGBTQT, and I don't even know what, and
Mm-hmm.
however many situations gone. It was because somebody was interested in another part of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think it's kind of the same.
I've always wondered, controversial thought. I always wondered. So, like, all right. So, looking through all of history, let's just say that, and I don't know the percentages off the top of my head. Let's say 8 to 10% of the population falls somewhere on the non-straight
Mm-hmm.
spectrum. Has it always been 8 to 10%, or is there some mechanism we don't know about, there are some animals that will change their genders if the population is too either
Clownfish.
unsustainable. Well, that's one of them. If it's either unsustainable or unsuitable, or there's just a gender imbalance, they'll switch around. I wonder, like, is that a thing?
Mm.
Like, okay, how does that one clownfish, in his brain, what little part of it goes? There's too many dudes around here. I need
Yeah.
to be a lady. Like, what is it about their brain? Okay, we don't really know. Could it be something in our population that now we're hitting this critical mass? And I've heard about it in other animals too. Well, they will switch sexualities or something like that to where they're essentially non-reproductive to limit the population. I'm like, okay, and there's
I mean, it's more people now than
there's a,
ever has
there's a
been.
shitload of people in the
Yeah.
world, and I'm like, okay, could it just be, that they were just born that way, or something got triggered as a child, because of our population, and that's just who they are,
Hmm.
and I've always wondered that, but I
I never thought about that.
I don't know. I'm not a gender
I mean, I know definitely.
studies guy.
Uh, I feel like, and I don't know if it's true. I feel like I can see more gay people than I ever have, and
And that's what I'm wondering. Like, oh, say, so back in the '60s, were there that many gay people? They just, or on the spectrum, people, you didn't talk about it, so you just shut up and you married the woman and you had kids, or you didn't,
yeah,
and you just grinned and bore it, or has it just started becoming a thing now, that because of in my particular case, because of the population getting so big, or what, or is it
right.
just because now everybody's okay to do it? But then you kind of think that, like, 60-year-old men would just be coming out more, and maybe they do, and I just don't hear about it. I don't know. I guess it doesn't make the news when someone
Yeah,
comes out anymore like it used to.
right.
God, I remember when you remember when Ellen came out on TV?
I don't, but I can tell you this. I grew up in Germany and then came to the United States. I saw somebody on television and I was like, oh man, they look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it probably is beautiful or whatever, but it was RuPaul
Mm-hmm.
dressed up in drag. And I did not know. And my stepdad was like, that's a guy. And I was like, no, no way. Look at the television. That's a girl.
You see all that hair,
That's the
don't you?
first time I was introduced to somebody that was gay and even in drag or
In
whatever,
drag,
and
yeah.
I didn't even it didn't process in my head. I
Mm-hmm.
probably was like 13, 14 years old. I don't remember. But yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, they have a dress on. It is a guy, you know. But now stuff is like everywhere and it's showing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying right or wrong or anything like that. I feel like whatever floats your boat, as long as you don't hurt people, I
That's
don't
what
really
I'm saying.
care. But it is accessible. It is everywhere, and it. The more stuff is out, the more people can get knowledge from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that also makes other people and
More comfortable to share. And,
yeah, and even if you didn't know or even thought about it, now you see it, then there's another option. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I don't think. I don't know. I could never be. I'm. I think I would always be straight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think conversation or something would ever change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, I guess never say never because you never know what the future is going to bring. But sexually, I was not, except you, Will.
Thanks.
Except you.
Obviously. This is a button-down shirt.
There was never in my life where I was sexually attracted to men.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could say like, oh, that's a very beautiful person or a beautiful guy, but it was never a sexual thing. It's the features or whatever. Like Brad Pitt, it's a gorgeous guy.
Just like,
You know what I'm saying?
damn him, born with all those genetics.
Yeah, but
You ever
like-
wonder what would your life look like if you were born with, Brad Pitt's genetics or whatever? Would you still be a restaurant manager?
I'd be a total hoe. Dude, I would have so many diseases.
So in that sense, it's kind of good that
I mean, it is.
we were limited with what we got.
No, definitely, for sure. I was not shy, but I didn't. I mean, I never really had that many girlfriends or anything like that, and but yeah, no, I really, if I was a attractive girl, or a really, really attractive guy, I think I might have been a hoe.
It'd be my look. I would look just like me, but with long hair. Get absolutely nothing. I'd walk I'd walk in and they'd be like, "She needs to put more on."
Would you hoe around?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously. And I don't know if that's because, you say, what's if you're the other gender for a day, what are you going to do? And everybody says the same thing.
I don't know if I would even go anywhere.
Well, I mean, you're gonna play with the stuff you never had before.
For sure.
So like,
But that's weird too, because I wouldn't never.
So like when you're thinking about okay, now I'm a girl for a day. Now I've got to go get with a dude.
Yeah, no.
And you're like, okay, well,
That's
who do I
not
select?
cool.
Okay, well, maybe I'm on that spectrum somewhere.
I'll be the sluttiest lesbians you ever. I wouldn't want to.
Imagine that. I mean, you wake up as a girl, and now you've got to go seduce a guy, and you're like, how do you pick a guy? Well, you've still got
It's
your
gotta
boy.
be easy though.
But you've got your boy brain, so the whole time you're gonna be like,
oh yeah.
I want that dude in me. Like,
Oh, that makes me cringe just thinking about it.
Exactly. So like, it's just a weird catch-22.
What did somebody say? Somebody told me, he was like, Anthony, what would you rather have? Or who would you rather have sex with? Your mom in your wife's or girlfriend's body, or your girlfriend in your mom's body? And I'm like, this is a horrible situation. But if you had to choose, who would you choose? It's
Sleep
just
on the couch. You end it all.
I don't know. It's such a horrible
It really is.
scenario. Like the physical one or the mental one. Either or you. Yo, no. I couldn't do that. Oh, shoot. What's your answer?
Oh, respectfully decline.
I'm
I'm not having any armchair psychologists in the comments.
I declined that answer also. I said I'd just be celibate.
Celibate for the rest of my
We all be cool hanging around playing some card games, but there's nothing happening.
Platonic from here on out, baby.
Oh, man.
What's your most controversial opinion?
Ooh.
If you need to think about it, that's fine. I'll give you mine while you think.
Okay.
I think, okay, and it's super sad that people get to this place, but if you are in a place where you want to unalive yourself,
Okay.
all right, you got that part of the population. You have to imagine there's another part of the population who thinks about murder a little too much.
Yeah.
Or who think about it and are like, I want to try it, but I don't want to get caught. I feel like there's some overlap where, like, if you were just resigned to go out,
Yeah.
get like an exclusive app or something, or maybe not app. That's too willy nilly. But like, okay, a doctor says, okay, you've got these ideations and you're a danger to yourself. A psychiatrist goes, okay, you've got these thoughts; they're a danger to others. Maybe you could like sign up to like make the rest of the world safer and let them hunt the others.
I don't have to think about it. 100%.
We just started a new app.
No, so if I feel like if you have, So I think about death all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Partly I joke around. See, I personally don't feel like I'm going to live that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never thought I was going to make it out of high school, honestly. Like when I was younger, I was like, I cannot envision myself older than high school age. Like I just can't even imagine
Really?
it. Like I could not imagine a scenario where I went to a job and just had a job and just lived a life with your own bills and apartments. I could not
Really?
fathom it in the slightest. I was like,
Wow.
I think maybe I have some sort of precognitive, and I've got a block. Like I can't see past a certain age because I'm going to have a terrible accident or a car wreck
Yeah.
or something's going to happen, and
That's
I'm
what
not going to
mine
make
is.
it that.
Mine is. And I had this vision for the longest where I'm driving on the highway
Mm-hmm.
and I look to my left and the person in the next car over has a gun out and shoots me.
I think about that too.
All the
I'm like,
time.
my wife, I tell her, and I'm like, I'm thinking about all these different things that are never going to happen, I'm sure, but I've always got a plan for them. And she's like what?
I ain't got no plan.
I'm
I
like,
just got shot.
literally anything. I'm like, all right, imagine if I see somebody, in the car next to me and they point a gun at. I already know what I'm going to do. Slam the brakes, swerve over. That way you put some paint on their car. You can help track them down. If somebody walks in and they've got a gun, I already know where I'm going. How many people can I grab out the back door? Like, I've just got all these scenarios planned out, and I know none of them will ever happen, but I'm ready for them.
See, with the gun thing.
I won't be surprised.
I knew this day was going to happen. Been planning.
It has come to this.
That's why I bought this car. Just for this plan. No, it's like literally like I look over and like I see the gun. Poof, like there's no,
Gotcha.
it just happens quick. And, and I also like, I don't know, my knees are bad, my back is bad. And, you think about all of this stuff and like, do you really want to live?
It would be horrible to live to be like 100 years old.
I think so too.
I mean, imagine. I mean,
Right now I'm thinking like 80.
my great grandmother, she lived to in her 90s, I want to say, and I mean, she was so frail, and you can't do anything really. I mean, you're not going out living your life. I mean,
Right.
she was stuck in a wheelchair for most of the time. You've seen everyone for the most part,
Yeah.
die from their old age, and it's just you left. Hopefully your kids are going to outlive you, but at the same time, I mean, her kids were in their like 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
like,
it's coming.
it was very possible. She had lost several kids already, and like
Yeah.
that's just you think about losing your child, and that's absolutely horrible. And
What do you think, like, after a while, like, okay, you said how old was she?
I want to say she was in her late 90s.
And I have a couple of family members that made it over 100. I think 3
Jeez.
on my dad's side. But I mean, yeah, you don't do anything. People had to do stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
You said she was in a wheelchair, so somebody has to get her up, probably bathroom, and all that. Like, do you think at that point you don't care anymore that somebody's doing all that stuff for you, and you just want to enjoy? But how much are you enjoying?
You're in bed by 6:30. I mean, you're not going out doing nothing, and
Yeah.
you can't even really cook for yourself. I mean, my great grandmother, like I said, she was just very old and frail, and she couldn't cook for herself, or she needed help with everything, getting dressed, and all this kind of stuff, and just to watch. Okay, you've watched all your parents go, you've watched brothers and sisters, all your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody's living to 100 years old.
Correct. Right.
And every friend you make at that point in your life could go at any day. I mean, like if you're in your 80s or 90s and you're meeting other 80s and 90s.
That's it.
One of us ain't gonna make it around to the new year usually,
Right.
And it just keeps coming up on everybody else's number but yours. I mean, like, it's just
What
horrible.
if you never die? That'd be horrible.
Only be horrible if no one else ever. I mean, if no one else got cursed with immortality too.
Yeah.
If everyone else lived, it'd be okay then, because you
Yeah.
still get to hang out with your kids and
No,
stuff
but
like
no,
that.
you're the only one. But you're still aging.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's just terrible. Sign me up on that app. Let somebody hunt me. I will be the ultimate game.
Yeah, but that app idea is it's a pretty good idea. I mean, and I'm all for it. Like if you're like to me, like all these people that do like massive shootings and killing people, I'd say start with you 1st, and then
Yeah.
Go see
Work
how
out
far
from
you
there.
go.
Yeah. What about well, let's see, what's the best way to phrase it? What if you've got like a Make-A-Wish kid? There should be a group of generous men and or women, just make some stuff happen before
Yeah.
these kids that reach an untimely age of like dying before 20 or something like that. That's just terrible. They do a lot of other cool stuff like Disney World, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you get out of that age grade, which are Disney's no longer attractive to you, but there's other stuff you want to do when you hit 15, 16, 18 years old. I mean, there should be an app for that.
No, so I do agree. I don't know where it's Sweden or whatever. They had that dude that assisted people.
Assisted suicide, yeah.
Yeah.
The little pods they have too. Have you seen those?
No.
It's like a little. It's very much like Futurama, the first episode where they met Bender. There's not a knife that comes out and stabs you, but like you get in this little pod that almost looks sort of cocoon-like, and then you sit down in it, and it will euthanize you, and then like they have collections that will come and pick you up, and
Nice.
that's your
I
deal.
feel like if you don't really want to be on this on this earth, have somebody help you out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm just like, oh, and people are depressed and stuff like that all the time. So it's kind of a fine line of you having a bad year or you having a situation
Yeah.
going on you feel like you can't get out of. So definitely I think doctors need to be involved.
You've
and
tried help and therapy and all that
yeah,
kind of
I mean,
stuff.
if you really are, it's gonna be worse. You continuing to live if you don't want to be here and everything is bad on you. Can it switch around? Yeah, absolutely. But is it going to? Or
They're
I
stuck
don't
in such
know.
a rough mental state that they can't ever see it turning around.
And some people don't.
Yeah.
So the whole entire time. So what's worth? You just finishing it off? You just
Or making
being
them
done
suffer,
with it?
yeah.
That sounds so horrible. Because I have a couple of friends that committed suicide.
I have a cousin just
But-
the week before Christmas, 2 weeks before Christmas this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he hung himself, and that's
Now I do think it's very selfish.
yeah.
Because
That's the first thing I thought.
I mean that's
of.
what
was
it
like-
is.
That's what and I know he'd struggled with addiction in the past, and I said I don't understand, but I empathize that has to be very tough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all I could think of was I think he had kids. I was like, they will never have a Christmas where they don't think about
Right.
what their dad did.
Right.
I mean, and it sounds callous, but like, wait till like March or April, or there's no holidays around there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Not April because that's Masters Week.
well, if maybe they're not golfers. Who knows? But like Arbor Day, it celebrates that. But
I shouldn't have even said that, but yeah.
But I mean, like,
horrible.
that's honestly what I thought too was like, I fault him for it? No, but it did seem incredibly selfish because I just imagine, all I could think about now that I'm a dad is like, okay, would I do that to my kids?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I wouldn't want to ruin the holidays for them. That's not, they shouldn't have to share in my sadness, for what I was going through, and again, that's coming from a very different space than someone who has to go through it.
Right.
And every day is a struggle, or, I just cannot make it one more day. I know that's a lot to ask out of somebody. But,
Right. No, and I don't understand it either. I totally agree with you. But what if it is, I guess it was. I mean, maybe he had that thought also already. But to him, it is so bad that he literally can't bear it anymore. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, leaving the people behind, especially if you have kids, And I've been upset and down where I had thoughts of like, what if I wasn't here? Never like suicidal thoughts, but like, would it be better if I wasn't here? You know what I'm saying? I had those thoughts before. It's like, oh man, this really sucks. Yada yada. Would it be better if I wasn't here and people are going out about their lives and stuff like that? But and then I'm also like, man, shut up. You just had a bad. You drank bad coffee and you just really need to poop. I don't know. So, but I also feel like if you really mentally can't do it, are you really good to your kids also? Are you what's worse for them to have you there and you're not there, or to not have you there and you're not there.
And if it's, if it is like if they allow you to do like the assisted,
Yeah.
at least you can say your goodbyes. You've got a definite.
Would you
Okay.
do it then?
Hmm?
If everybody know, okay, on the 15th we're going to go do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your kids are upset the whole entire time. Do you tell them like early? Do you tell them like last minute? Do
I
they
think
know
you tell
about
them.
it?
I think you tell them like a month ahead. Like ease into it.
Daddy's just not going
Hey,
to be there anymore.
yeah, I can't do it. Da da da. I got brain bugs, or I got whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, and just be like, I cannot. I am so sorry.
I don't think I
Let's
could tell
go.
them.
Let's go have some fun. Let's go to Disney World. Let's do whatever.
But it won't be fun.
And no, it'll be like just feel like if somebody's sick, you just okay. These are the memories. Let's make sure we make the most of it. And like those people that get diagnosed with like terminal illnesses.
Yeah, but that's not their choice.
and they cash out their
You-
life insurance, and they're like, I'm gonna go bungee jumping, or
Yeah.
whatever.
But you that's not their choice. If you're making a choice. You're making a conscious choice of that being happening. So like for the kids, maybe it's like, well, weren't we good enough? Why can't we make you happy?
I don't know.
And I don't have the answer for that, but it just popped in my head.
Mhm.
With talking about that. Yeah, I don't have the answer, but I also feel like the thoughts. For example, I know somebody who is transgender,
Mhm.
right? Was a girl, is a guy now, and I honestly feel, and I never really understood it. I'm in my body. I'm so
Mhm.
happy that I'm a guy. I couldn't imagine me
Mhm.
being a girl, but was never happy in their body. Like legitimately,
Yeah.
was never happy. And now seeing them
Mhm.
with the operations and the hormones seems fantastic.
Awesome.
And to me it's always like, what is going on in their mind to be so upset, like, because
I don't know what that's like.
changing yeah
I don't know what that's like to be upset at my body. Like
Yeah.
that's such a foreign concept. I can't even put myself in someone else's shoes
Correct,
for
yeah.
that. Like I can hear it and I can hear him describe it,
don't even
and I'm like,
understand it.
that sounds terrible. I can't even.
Right.
I can't believe it. It's so unbelievable to me because I've never experienced anything like that.
Right.
I can say, oh yes, that's terrible, and I completely agree. You should do what you need to do to make yourself happy, but I can't. I just have to say okay, and I trust you and believe you because
Right.
it's just not my experience at all. Like,
Yeah, that's how but I do think, like, how horrible it has to be for you or whoever that person is to feel that way, to go through all that stuff, to go through the ridicule, because the stuff like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to happen, to knowingly know that and still do it. How bad do you have to feel in that place in the first place? You know what I'm saying? It's got to be horrible.
it does, yeah.
Absolutely horrible. And well, they're doing great, and I'm very proud of them.
Good.
Yeah, it's just I always thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird.